Hi everyone, Average Pat here today to sit to chat about the classic 1993 movie, The Fugitive. I tried uploading this on Friday and unfortunately had some technical difficulties, so I'm redoing it today. Also, ahead of time, I apologize if you hear some noise in the background. I just got a kitten on Monday and she's still quite excited to be here. So, The Fugitive, 1993, nominated for Best Picture, and also was a nomination and win for Best Supporting Actor for Tommy Lee Jones. Harrison Ford in one of his biggest roles since the Indiana Jones Crusade movies. This was before, I believe he really had serious success with the Jack Ryan movies, which he did quite well in, but this was before those. Joe Pantoliano, a small role that wound up becoming a lot bigger than he had intended, actually fought to make sure that his character survived so he would be around for a sequel, were there to ever be one. We all know there was one, U.S. Marshals with Wesley Snipes, Tommy Lee Jones, and Joe Pantoliano. One of the greatest scenes of all movies with Harrison Ford's character Richard Kimball on the dam, appearing to surrender to Tommy Lee Jones. He throws out the line, "I didn't kill my wife," led to one of the best improvised lines of the 90s. Tommy Lee Jones's line was supposed to be, "That's not my problem." Of course, we all know he changed it to, "I don't care," which just showed the true passion of him embracing the character role. His job was to get the guy, regardless of his circumstances, and doesn't care about the details. His job is to make sure he gets the guy. He proved himself in that role quite well with that line that he improvised. Many great scenes to choose from. The best ones I'm going to choose to talk about without ruining the whole entire movie are the obvious scenes in the St. Patrick's Day Parade in downtown Chicago. Hilariously, the producers and directors actually had permission from the city of Chicago to film during the actual St. Patrick's Day Parade. That was not an improvised set-up parade. That actually was the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Chicago, which is notorious for being a heck of a celebration. They do dye the water green. There's people everywhere. They have a great time. Supposedly, they lasted about 10 to 15 minutes of running through the actual parade with the camera crews trying to keep up before anybody realized, hey, that's Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones. And that's how they managed to edit that. So you obviously weren't able to see that. But still, the fact that they pulled it off without any kind of true plan, with everybody as extras knowing, but to actually pull it off in a parade was quite impressive in my eyes. The storyline of the movie, Dr. Richard Kimball is set up. In the very beginning, he's shown the whole setup of the movie is him being accused of killing his wife. He states numerous times that he's innocent. He tries to prove it throughout the whole movie. He does his best to prove it. I'm not going to go ahead and do spoilers, even though it's a really old movie. If you haven't seen it yet, frankly, you're missing out. But let's just say that the suspense for the drama, the whodunit, is it really him? Is it not him? Is it anybody else? For a 1993 movie to hold up under today's scrutiny is quite impressive. It's still a very good movie. The computer graphics of, or not necessarily computer graphics, but the video graphics of editing his character jumping off of a vehicle involved in a major accident obviously don't stand up to the test of time, because we're able to do much better graphic-wise now. But little fact of information that I found amusing was that train really did crash. I'm not going to specify what is all involved, but the train scene that crashed was not a miniature. That was actually a full-size train that they had permission to crash. Just thought it was quite amusing and impressive. Obviously, it's tough to give a good rating to a movie like this. It's an obvious classic. It doesn't seem really fair to actually try to judge it by today's standards as opposed to back then. When I saw it, I was in high school. I loved it. I loved the movie from the get-go. Harrison Ford's portrayal of Dr. Richard Kimball was incredibly well done. He improvised a lot of his lines, as well did Tommy Lee Jones, which shows the versatility of them as actors. Today's modern times, would it stand the test of time? I believe it would. It's still a very good movie. Great dialogue, great questions asked, great answers provided throughout the context of the movie. Lots of little subtle clues that if you pay attention to, you'll understand and see. Overall, obviously this one's at least a 4.5 out of a 5. This is a true, honest to goodness classic. Also happens to be classic age because it's now 25 years old, which really makes me feel old realizing that I saw this when I was back in high school. So again, 4.5 out of 5. This is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. If you really love movies and have family members who haven't seen it, go watch it with them just to explain the beauty of it. Thank you very much for watching. Please do me a favor, give me a like on YouTube, like my Facebook page as well. I'm trying to get this out there to as many people as I can, and the more interaction I get from everybody else shows me that whether or not it's working and what I need to do to improve. Thank you very much. Hope you have a good night.